Have you ever noticed something strange? The moment you stop reacting to someone, they suddenly start paying attention. The person who used to provoke you keeps looking for a reaction. And the person who thought they could control your mood suddenly realizes they cannot. That is the real power of ignoring. But here is what most people get wrong. Ignoring is not pretending someone does not exist. It is not the silent treatment. And it is not about trying to hurt people. The real power is much simpler. It is knowing when someone's behavior does not deserve your attention. Because when you stop giving your attention away, you get something much more valuable back: your control. Today, I am going to show you 8 powerful ways to use ignoring as self-control. And number 8 changes everything. Hack number 1, stop reacting immediately. Someone says something rude. Someone sends a message designed to annoy you. Someone makes a comment just to get under your skin. Your first instinct is to answer. But pause. That pause is power. Research on social exclusion shows that being ignored or rejected can create emotional distress and increase attention toward the social situation. But your goal is not to exploit that reaction. Your goal is to stop being controlled by it. Before you answer, ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? If the answer is no, do nothing. No angry paragraph, no instant comeback, just pause. Sometimes the strongest response is the one you never send. Hack number 2, ignore the bait, not the person. This is where most people fail. Someone makes a sarcastic comment. You take it personally. They make another one. You defend yourself. Now you are trapped in a conversation you never wanted. Recognize the bait. Not every comment needs an answer. Imagine someone throwing a ball at you, but you simply let it fall. The game ends because you stopped playing. That does not mean you have to disrespect the person. It means you refuse to participate in pointless conflict. Hack number 3, stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Have you ever spent 10 minutes explaining your intentions, only for someone to twist every word? You explain, they question, you explain again. They find another problem, and now you are exhausted. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is stop. If someone genuinely wants to understand you, communicate. But if someone only wants an argument, you can step away. Hack number 4, remove your attention from unnecessary drama. Drama survives on attention. A group chat starts arguing. Someone complains about everyone. A small disagreement becomes a giant fight. And suddenly 30 minutes of your life are gone. Ask yourself, will this matter next week? If the answer is no, step away. Put your phone down and go back to your work. Your attention is limited. And whatever you repeatedly give attention to can become bigger in your mind. So stop feeding things that do not deserve to grow. Hack number 5, use distance when emotions are high. This is one of the most important forms of ignoring. Sometimes you should not respond because you are too angry to respond well. Maybe you are frustrated or ready to say something you will regret. That is when distance becomes useful. You can simply say, I need some time, we can talk later, and then step away. This is different from the silent treatment. The silent treatment can be used to punish or control someone, while taking a clear pause can give you time to regulate your emotions and return to the conversation. The goal is not punishment. It is keeping emotion from making the decision. Hack number 6, ignore the need to prove yourself. This may be the hardest one. Someone doubts you. Someone says you will fail. Someone underestimates you. And suddenly you want to prove them wrong. But think about it. If your entire life becomes a response to other people's opinions, who is actually controlling your life? They criticize, you change. They doubt you, you work harder. You may look powerful, but they are still controlling your attention. Real power is different. You stop performing for people who are not part of your mission. Let your results speak when they are ready. Hack number 7, ignore distractions that steal your future. Not every distraction is another person. Sometimes it is your own attention. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, checking who viewed your post, wondering why someone did not reply, checking again and again. Your mind keeps returning to the same thing. This is where ignoring becomes a life skill. You decide what deserves your attention and what does not. Put the phone away when you need to work. Leave the conversation when it becomes pointless. Stop checking for reactions. Return to your goal. Every time you redirect your attention, you train yourself to depend less on outside reactions. And that brings us to number 8. Hack number 8. Ignore without becoming cold. This is the secret most power videos forget. If you learn to ignore everyone, you have not become powerful. You have simply become disconnected. There are people you should listen to. A friend who genuinely cares. A parent or mentor giving honest advice. Someone offering constructive criticism. Do not ignore those people just because their words are uncomfortable. Real strength is knowing the difference. Ignore the insult. Listen to the lesson. Ignore the provocation. Listen to the truth. Ignore the drama. Listen to the people who matter. That is emotional control. And here is the deeper psychology behind all of this. Being ignored can hurt because humans have a strong need for belonging and social connection. Research on ostracism shows that exclusion can affect distress, attention, emotion, and behavior. But that same idea teaches you something important. You cannot control whether other people notice you. You cannot control whether they approve of you. You cannot control whether they respond. But you can control what you do with your attention. And that is where your power begins. Think about your attention like a spotlight. Whatever you point it at becomes brighter. Point it at an insult, and the insult grows. Point it at an argument, and the argument grows. Point it at someone else's opinion, and their opinion becomes more important than it deserves to be. But point that same spotlight toward your work, your relationships, your goals, and your future. And something changes. You stop asking, how do I make them regret it? And you start asking, how do I make my life better? That is the difference between revenge and self-control. So remember these 8 rules. Pause before reacting. Ignore the bait. Stop over-explaining. Walk away from unnecessary drama. Take space when emotions are high. Stop proving yourself. Ignore distractions. And never confuse emotional control with becoming cold. Because ignoring is not powerful because it makes someone else feel small. It is powerful when it stops someone else's behavior from controlling you. You do not need to answer every insult. You do not need to attend every argument. You do not need to chase every person's approval. Sometimes, you simply let the noise pass. And you keep moving. Because the strongest person in the room is not always the person with the best comeback. Sometimes, it is the person who knows what does not deserve a response. So the next time someone tries to pull you into unnecessary drama, pause, take a breath, look at the situation, and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, let it go. Your attention is valuable. Spend it like it matters. And once you learn that, people may still try to provoke you, but they no longer get to decide where your mind goes. That is the real power of ignoring.